So we finally recognize the ongoing war between good and evil, previously coined as hybrid empaths versus sociopaths. A great one. In the previous installments, folks, I made it a point to highlight this demoniac in our society, this person who's causing all of the problems, the person who's stepping on you, the person who's suppressing you, the person who's pointing you and pushing you into lower vibration. Many of you are born into this era, have been born, and you're clueless to what actually could be. And you reason that this thing, this way of life that we do is a normal thing. So you embody negative energy by default, which is the problem for most of us. Okay? So in those videos, I spoke about specific people in our society who are in hiding, who take the form of administrative people in your lives, your bosses, officials in government and all types of things across the society, our society. And these people are hiding, but in reality, we've discovered that narcissist is really just a demoniac. And this is really a bigger fight that we're talking about, folks. This is what this is really about. The bigger fight. We can talk about our enemy and we can point out their number, right? But when we figure out how we got to this place, when we get to this, we think about it enough, right? And we reason how we've reasoned with lower energy for them to even get the strength that they've gained so far. We're going to take this video and we're going to talk about the war, the tactics, how to deal with these beings, how to deal with these lower things in our society, how to avoid vibration. This is about battle. This is about engagement, folks. In the previous videos, you were pointed out to your enemies, those of you in high vibration. Anyone opposed to the message or will of the Most High, being in low vibration. The people who have an agenda and plan to take you to the hellish worlds. The number one plan in the bigger fight for them. And so they give you all of the creature comforts that they've given you up to this point. Some of them, they have actually commandeered you guys, right? Taking over your vessels, and now you're part of this machine of evil. So now we're going to fight back, folks. There was a great book that I read a while back called The Art of War. It was written by Sun Tzu, a great one. And it was a great book. Not just because it had a great title or a great author's name. But what I'm saying is that it was a great book because if we're talking about battles, folks, and strategies, right? The supreme way to win against your enemy is not by the means that you guys would typically think. The head-on thing, right? You have to reason that you have something greater on your side, folks. You can have a billion plus number in their army. But when you have the Most High, it could just be one person. It could just be you. And you can fight that fight alone, folks, because he is the fight. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a war going on, folks. And it plays out in many ways because we haven't figured out what love is. And I've talked to you guys about what love is. Some of you didn't like what I said in that video about the love goddess and the message. But the message is greater than anything you could ever imagine, folks, because you can't imagine, right? You can't reason with those possibilities. Remember that last video we did? So you unimaginative people live your lives in humdrum without reasoning that love is the one thing that could take care of all of the problems, because you want the problems. See, we're showing you the sociopath, folks, right? We're going to revisit that for just a moment to show you this demon, his mind. He doesn't want peace. And that's why we've never had peace. And you guys are him. This is why you haven't called for it. All of the things that we deal with in this society, we don't have to deal with. But maybe many of you want to do these things. You embody this lower level energy, these evils. You know? So when we talk about battle strategies, folks, we're talking about, first of all, that number one plate of armor that we're going to put on. And that's definitely going to guarantee us victory. And that is the victory from the hand of the Most High, folks. Holding on to the Most High is a fact. How does one do that in this age of frequencies and sounds? Because that's what we're talking about in this warfare. See, this is why it's important to highlight the battle, the actual bigger fight. And the tactics that these low-level shitbags use on us, folks. On the best of us. Right? So they use these frequencies. And I've talked about what man can't do and his incapabilities. But let's talk about some of the things that he has managed to do. Now, he has managed to mess around with frequencies and stuff. And a lot of this information he gained on a physical level about how something would affect another object or being or something is by testing it on creatures, on animals. Shooting them with lasers, zapping them and doing all of the evil things that they have done to gain this technology. That's why I told you, when it comes to spiritual technology, folks, you are blessed in a way that nothing has to suffer. But you guys are not getting that. You reason that you must kill a bug. You reason that you must take over areas that animals habitat. Right? Because you're mighty, right? So your lack of humility that I've always talked about and the ignorance, compounds that. And this is what we get, folks. We get the shit. So one deals with the frequencies by holding on to the Most High. And by traditional means, many of you have done prayer, but you have to understand that a lot of those things, a lot of those doctrines and rituals and things that I've discussed have been poisoned. The well has been poisoned from the start, folks. You could be calling out to God and not even be calling out to God. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And this is why I told you the first step is to build relationship. Or one of the first steps. Maybe the first step. First step is reasoning the evil in the world, the bigger fight, and then realizing who can deliver you that victory. Right? And that's when you're cooking with gas that's being provided to you. Right? So you hold on to God and you talk to God every day because God is present in every aspect of your life at all times, folks. The knowledge, like I told you, the knowledge will deliver you. And knowing God is real, knowing that he's there will give you that courage. Right? When you know he's the greatest thing ever, folks, he cannot be defeated. He is unmatched. It is a fact. So therefore, you can go into this battle armed with the most mighty weapon that one could have. Right? The cloak of God. Now, you can sing a song to yourself once you connect to God on this level, in this oneness, and you've sought him in your hearts, and you haven't tried to play a game, and you haven't just externally, because you like external things, said some audible sound out of your mouth, and you thought that was enough to get God to bless you or take this veil back. It requires you to not be what the society is, folks. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? He's going to destroy the lower end of society, folks. Right? He's impartial to all things, folks. But there is a balance that has to be put in place at all times. That's why I said these are things that are over your pay grade. You don't even understand the technical nature of what's actually happening. Dark energy has free will. He has given all life in the universe free will, folks, whether good or bad. But the bad is so evil and diabolical, they have schemed a way into third dimensional existence. Because you're just humans and because you don't have good reasoning, you deal with these lower energies and allow them to give you things that are nothing. You can be provided all of these things, right? But they give you things, or they provide you with some type of creature comforts or make you feel good on a mental level that you're willing to be part of their army. So the majority of you have been drinking the Kool-Aid. And yeah, it's something in that Kool-Aid. Don't drink it. You'll have people telling you stuff about this Kool-Aid, but I keep talking about this. I have nothing in this, folks, but higher salvation. You understand me? A better day. I am in anguish on days when I look at fools, when I'm dealt with energy by fools and I have to put on my cloak every day. And one reason is that this is a normal society that one has to fight battles every day. See, you're in lower energy, and in hellish worlds, you'll get to fight all the battles you want because you'll be fighting for your lives, literally. Every second of your lives. So there's pain and misery in these places, folks. And the lower your energy sinks, the harder it is to rise to the light, folks. Which is where you should have been all along. So yeah, the devil had a plan. And he's a master strategist, really, if you really look at it. He really is, because he's figured out how to really, stroke your creature comforts. He's figured out that one thing is a shit-wiping nose blower that makes you weak, right? And in his mind, as a narcissistic, as the supreme narcissist, he made reason that you don't deserve the heavens. He thinks he does. See how narcissists think? The playbook, folks, the devil wrote the playbook. I'm trying to get you guys to see this. So when you realize that there's a fight, you want to hold on to God and you want to fully arm yourselves on a daily basis, but talking to him and communicating with him, folks. How do you look coming to God in the 11th hour screaming out for his help or his mercy, and you have not acknowledged him your whole life? You've acknowledged the devil. You've played the devil's games. You've hung around with demonics people and dealt in dark energies and made your little deals because it was just something to do. It wasn't real, right? If it wasn't real, why was it required of you? See, you're not smart enough to reason these things, folks. The devil always has a plan. So you're going to have your counter plan to his bullshit. And he will always be defeated, folks, because the Most High is supreme. Do you get me? So you always want to talk to God. You always want to talk to the Most High, right? And you always want to feel his vibration. You always want to stay in high vibration, folks. You're not perfect in the material reality. You're going to be dealt these energies. This is a boot camp, folks. But the test is how you reason to yourself, how you dealt with something. You're going to have bad days, but if you turn it around and look in yourselves and say, I was wrong, and then talk to God about that, God will give you credit for that, folks. This is about higher vibration, right? That thing that makes you feel bad for someone is just higher vibration in itself. See, I'm trying to get you guys to differentiate between narcs and demoniacs and actual light workers. People who actually have a purpose, and that purpose is to get to the place we need to be at, folks. How do I know? Because I'm experiencing these places right now and still immaterial. You can be blessed with these things, folks, but you have to call out to God in your heart, and you have to do it beyond means of trying to be sensational. You don't want thunderbolts. You don't want smoke and mirrors or any of these things. You want to call out to God because you truly want to be in oneness with him, and that is love. Now, I'll tell you guys a quick story because I know you like these stories, but I need you guys to grab something. The love goddess has taught me a great deal, great one. And I love her, folks. The love that I'm taught by them on a daily basis is what will deliver us to highness. So you guys reason love as some physical, low-level thing, some component on that level. But I want to tell you guys a story. One day, an enlightened man found himself amongst company of the gods. And on this particular occasion, he was frolicking, running through a field with the nature goddess, and they were playing and chasing each other and racing and all of these things. And he was allowed the ability to move and given attributes when he's in the heavens. And so he could run fast like the gods, and he could do all of these things. And so they were running and racing, and so because she's a goddess, to be clever, she turned herself into a fly, and she was really small, and so he couldn't really see her, and he was chasing her around, and she was buzzing all around, and he could not figure out how to get her to stay still. And so she laughed a great deal because she had gotten one over on him, right? But then he thought about something, love. And so he looks at the nature goddess, great one, as a fly, And he says, he says, if you love me, great nature goddess, you'll come to me. And because he was in the heavens, and because that word on the board, truth, only lives in the heavens, and is a real thing. Truth is a real thing in the heavens, folks. It has real legs and teeth, folks. And she came to him and she put herself right in his hand, square in the middle of his hand. Okay? And then eventually she turned back to herself. But to make a long story short, love, folks. Love is that thing that's beyond, you just don't understand the oneness. The oneness is the oneness with God, folks. The oneness is the oneness with nature, folks. We can have everything in abundance, folks. And I experience these great experiences every day, folks. And they're so real to me, and they're so right now. So it is incredibly amazing to me. Sometimes I am literally overwhelmed, but I know I have a purpose. I know I will be delivered. I know the Most High has my back and my coat of armor. But I have love in my heart, right? Is love always mushy, mushy? Nope. Because I'm giving you guys love. Whoever you are, those in vibration. Remember, demoniacs are not capable of expressing or receiving love. Just by default. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I'm not talking, I don't do this channel for lower level people. I told you, stay away from my channel, guys, if you're in lower vibration. Because what I'm doing is just trying to wake up certain people. And it's a small number of them, right? So when I don't get the comments or the feedback, it's okay, folks. The majority of you are lost. I realize this is the fact. But you scoff at love because you're selfish, right? Your idea of love is adulation or something, or whatever that could be, right? People worshiping you, giving you praise all the time. But you're not giving praise to the most important aspect of this conversation, folks. That is what's going to deliver you in this fight. And when you identify that there is a bigger fight, folks, you know where to get your best protection, folks. It's simple. I tell you guys to seek the Most High, right? Before you do anything else. Call out to him in your hearts, folks. As simple as that. Talk to him in your hearts. Tell him that you want the knowledge. Tell him that you want to see a better day. Tell him that you understand that the lower energies have run amok in this society. Tell him that you understand frequencies and that you want to live and experience high vibration in your hearts, folks. And he will unveil, folks, everything to you. My great mentorship is the greatest experience I've ever experienced in material reality. And because I'm handcuffed to higher reality, whom I love a great deal, I'll move on into better things, folks. But while I'm here, that purpose is to fight the fight. Understand, we've already highlighted and shown you who the enemy is. He's the person who's suppressing you. He's the person who's taking from you. And in situations when you're always disenfranchised, all you have to do is just look over on that side of the fence and see who's doing it to you. The person who has everything yet takes everything from you, right? The person who reasons you to be a slave, yet they themselves are free, or so they think. You understand what I'm saying to you? There will be something to pay for this, folks, because the Lord set up the law of karma in the universe. Nothing escapes karma, folks. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? And when you're dealing in high vibration, your ability to draw bad karma is limited on some level, because you're always getting tests and lessons, and you're always learning something. You're always in a position to learn, like I said. You folks going over to my website, thinkbehavior.info, pick up my book, I Love Bad Behavior. Because I love bad behavior. But I love love. And the best of us know this. This is the way. This is the only way, folks. Seek God in your heart. Right? Seek God in your hearts, folks. Y'all have a great day.